this afternoon. I'm Greg Harris. I'm the Public Information Officer here at Chemeketa, which means I'm involved in media relations and communications, particularly emergency communications. My role here is I'll work as a facilitator for our hour together. What I'm going to do is introduce the panel, kind of get us teed up and convened, and then what we'll do is we'll hear from each of these folks here who have some comments to make. And then we're going to open it up to questions. And we really hope that we'll hear from you this afternoon. So please be thinking about what you're hearing, what you're not hearing, what else you want to know, what questions that you have. So obviously immediately to my left here is, your right is Cheryl Roberts, our president. And next to her is Thomson, an officer at Marion County Sheriff's. Bill Kohlmeyer, our public safety director, and Matt Rauch, our executive coordinator of Associated Students at Chemeketa. You'll hear from each of them. We'll begin with one bit of housekeeping. When it comes time for questions, and go to the mic here in the middle of the aisle so that your questions will be on record. Okay? Thank you very much.
And thanks everyone for being here today. You know, typically when we convene in this space, it's about recognition or celebration for our employees or our students. So I appreciate you being here today because we are all very concerned about the 3 threats that have come against Chemeketa. It's been very perplexing because we've enjoyed such great confidence in this community, and so we are, again, perplexed about why this is occurring at this time. And I know it's been a lot of frustration with our students and our staff who are here, all about your learning. And we know that education is about, and particularly Chemeketa, is about hopefulness and optimism. And with this sort of hanging over us, we wanted to come together and talk about what we know and how we can continue to create a safe, secure environment for all of us here at Chemeketa. I wish I had a magic wand. I wish I could wave it and all the danger and that would go away and we would be immune from any risk, but you know that that's not possible. I do want to talk about what we do know, about the things that are in place that you can take some comfort in, and then to talk about what we can do together to try to bring a swift resolve to this situation. The first piece I'd like to talk about is our emergency preparedness system. And we do have a system in place. It's been in place for a very long time. And you're going to hear some recurring themes in it. And it deals with people and it deals with relationships. The first piece of our system deals with our public safety department. And leading that department is Bill Kohlmeyer, who you'll hear from in just a few minutes, and his officers, who are really well trained. Bill has over 30 years of experience in the law enforcement area. He is very well connected and very well respected. The next piece of our system deals with our threat assessment team. Our threat assessment team meets regularly with other local agencies to look at early warning systems and conditions in our community. Our third piece, which is really our largest piece of our system that you may have experienced, is our Emergency Preparedness Committee. And we work really rigorously to provide all kinds of training for our staff so that all of you know what to do in case of an emergency. But also, we have redundant systems so that if there is an emergency that happens at the college, there are different people in parts of leadership that know what to do. We always have an administrator in charge because we are all going about our daily life. So oftentimes I'm not here on campus like I was not on campus last week, but we did have an administrator in charge. We have, as I said, redundant systems so that whoever is here knows how to create the emergency response and knows how to bring all those players into play. Whether that is our facilities, our IT people, our public safety folks, and our PIO office. The fourth piece is our alert system, and we have over 5,000 students and staff who are engaged in our early alert system. I'm hoping that many more of you, if you haven't, will consider that. We send out and push out information as quickly as we can so that it's accurate. We only have, you may not know, there's 162 characters, so our messages are very pithy and to the point. but we have gotten some good feedback on how to do that even better. But I hope that you will engage in being a part of our early alert system. Even my 90-year-old mother gets an alert from Chemeketa. Yes, she does. The last piece is our crisis response team. When we have some kind of traumatic situation, which we've had over the past few years, we need to deal with emotional issues. We do have our crisis response team, and I see several of them here today. We will and continue to act swiftly when we have a threat. We are working very closely with our law enforcement folks, and I see them here today. I see our district attorney who is here, Walt Baglow, who is here. We enjoy a lot of support around us, but we want to bring this to a closure. This is an unprecedented situation.
I'd like to thank you for inviting us to be here today. Again, my name is Don Thomson. I'm a similar position to Greg in that I'm the PIO for the Sheriff's Office. Let me tell you a little bit about our position and our role in these investigations. We're what's commonly referred to in our industry as the first responders. I understand there was some question as to why not Salem PD, why the Sheriff's Office, but it's simply a matter of jurisdiction. Chemeketa College is located here within the county of Marion County. It's not within the city of Salem, so we're the primary first responders. And although that would indicate that our first involvement began on February 13th when we got the first call of the bomb threat, it really didn't. It started long before that. We forged a relationship individually with your director, Bill Kohlmeyer, in his prior long career with Salem PD, and as well as his time here as your director of public safety. And that relationship is really one of collaboration and cooperation. We've worked and reinforced and helped in developing the emergency plan that the President was talking about a few moments ago. So these long-standing relationships with Chemeketa will continue throughout these investigations. I want to emphasize that our commitment to this college involved sending a minimum of 6 deputies to each one of these calls, and they were here for probably 4 to 5 hours at any given time. You might not have seen them every time they were here because they could have been building, they could have been out sleuthing around, but they were here, trust me. Combined with, I think Bill's folks had at least 6 or 7 people there. We had a lot of resource dedicated to that. To give you some perspective, Marion County is over 1,200 square miles, and on a regular shift, we might put out 4 or 5 deputies, a few traffic people, we might have some people in transporting prisoners. And when something like this happens, we pull them all together. We get as many people here. I even know Deputy Hinkle, one of our crime prevention deputies, dropped everything he was doing to get here. So we take these things very seriously. The reasons we have to are I think, fairly clear. I don't think you'd have to go too far back in your mind and in your mind's memory to recall the Woodburn bombing that we investigated. In fact, our office, I think, led that investigation, and one of the investigators, Mike Myers, that was the lead detective on this, is also overseeing these cases. Go back a little further, Thurston, Columbine, last week the shooting in Ohio, the school there. We cannot take these calls as a joke or a hoax. We have to approach every one of them as though they're genuine. So our role, and Bill's going to talk about the first few minutes, our role here is about public safety. That's what we do. I was asked to kind of run down what crimes are committed when someone makes a false bomb threat or a false shooting threat. And the criminal side and the charging side, frankly, falls under the district attorney's control. They really decide what charges are brought against the person or the people who are found responsible for making these calls. But generally, we're talking about things like disorderly conduct. We're talking about making or initiating false police reports. There could be other crimes depending on how certain crimes are committed. If you use certain phones or something, there may be a special code that could be used for that. I don't believe, and Walt, you can correct me if you want, I don't believe Oregon has a specific making a bomb threat section. So you generally piece together the actions and find out if those actions violated a law, and then you charge those laws accordingly. The ones that I've looked at and researched are primarily misdemeanors, but they do carry imprisonment in jails up to a year and fines. Those are all determined by the court. What we did when we received the first call on the 13th, and as I indicated, there were 3 calls. There was the bomb threat on the 13th, the shooting threat on the 27th, and then a second bomb threat on the 1st. What we did is we arrived and assisted with the scene searching. And those, as I indicated, that took a long time. We also assisted Bill in developing the strategy as we went along, reassessing what we do minute to minute, making sure that we're doing the right things at the right times, given the information we know. Hindsight is always 20/20, and we debrief these situations all the time afterward to say, okay, up till here we made this kind of decision. Was it good based on what we knew? Yes. Okay, then we went this way, but later we found out this happened. Okay, could we have anticipated that? I mean, we're constantly kind of putting our egos aside and questioning what we did to make sure we can do it right, not only this time, but next time. As I indicated, we take this very seriously, and I do want to announce that later this afternoon, Crime Stoppers of Oregon will be offering or making an announcement offering up to a $1,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the person or the people responsible for these threats. Later today, up on this screen and on several others, you will see numbers that can be called, numbers that can be texted, internet sites that can be accessed where you can go and provide anonymous information on these cases. If you have any information, and these cases are like putting together a puzzle. You might walk around having one piece of the puzzle, and it happens to be the one our detectives need to make this puzzle complete. So don't think that, gee, this little bit of information won't be helpful. Make the call, pick up the phone and make the call. If you want to call our office and just stand up and say, I'm willing to talk to a detective, we can do that too. And I can talk to you afterwards and give you phone numbers, and we can cover that. But I really want to emphasize this Crime Stopper Reward Program. It's a charitable operation that works strictly on donations. I'll be honest with you, they don't generally get involved in rewards for misdemeanor crimes. And this is kind of a first. They take this as very serious. They realize just how much this impacted you and your ability to get an education and your ability to feel safe in getting that education. So that's why we were here. That's why we will continue to be here. Detective Ted Burwell is the detective assigned to this investigation. He's like a little pit bull. He just will keep holding on until he figures this out. But if you can help him, give us a call. Give Crime Stoppers a call.
And it depends on what time of day the call comes in. The first call came in while we were closed up. I wasn't here. The call came in to KPTV, and then they called 911, and they in turn called the sheriff's office. By the time I got involved in it, the sheriff's office was already here on scene and locking the place down and securing the place. Sergeant Jeff Wheeler was in charge at that time. He did a tremendous job keeping people off campus until we could figure out what was going on. So then one of my employees comes into the office. We have to then, now most of our doors unlock automatically about 6 o'clock in the morning. The electronic doors unlock at 6 o'clock in the morning. We had to go through the process of relocking those doors and making sure that the buildings were empty and people were moved out. We had to call extra people in to do that. We have to send out the timely warning. That's the text messaging or the email alerts. We contact the news media and get the information out on the news. We get information out through the all staff email. And then it's a process of, in the case of a bomb threat, it's a process of walking through these buildings and looking for things that are out of place.